Well, the event today here, I believe, is about seeing how we can rebuild a different kind of democracy, one that people will engage with much more than they have done, one that will stop in its path to disillusionment, and one where people can actively take part and feel that they have the power at their hands, and as the saying is being bandied around today, to act as if you own the place.
Today it has been giving me more information about what happens in local communities. The speakers have been providing us with a lot of information about what's going on in other countries and what we need to do in Scotland. I had no idea that there was such a centralised government here in terms of local authorities and things like that. So that's been a real eye-opener for me. That's incredible.
I think days like today are about dismantling structures that are no longer fit for purpose and don't work for the majority of people. I think those conversations are vital. I don't think we get to have those conversations enough. And it's really important that those conversations, everybody in all communities and all backgrounds gets to participate in those. And so I think this is brilliant. I think we need more.
I guess it's like an exploration of like what democracy in the 21st century might look like, some of the issues and barriers that we have in terms of putting that in place, and I think an acknowledgement of some of the wider issues that come out of a discussion of democracy, whether that's like looking at markets or technology, and kind of finding a way that we can collectively come to a consensus about how we might implement democracy in the 21st century.
One of the good things about events like this is that it's good for morale, it's good for connectedness. People come together and they feel their views are validated and challenged, and I think that both in equal measure is very healthy. For people who maybe don't get a chance in forums like this a lot, it can mean a great deal for them to get a chance to speak and be heard, and I think that's one of the most fundamental utilities of a community. For me personally, I'm going to go away and find out what's happening in my own community, because I felt for a long time that I've been separated from it and not really involved. So that'll be the first thing I'll do. Certainly heard from the earlier about local things that are happening, so it's really up to me now to go and find that out.
I think from today's event, people being actively involved in creating more localised democracy is what we want to see out of it. A conversation that is nationwide at a community level is what we're looking for. I think that's an admirable ambition of the organisers of this conference, and I hope that happens.
This kind of event, I hope, is a precursor to a sort of drive for a proper democratisation of our constitution, where we, as the people of the country, set the rules that the powerful exist within, rather than the powerful setting the rules that shape our lives.
Do you know what would happen if the community were not just having to deal with councillors? What if they were councillors as well and weren't getting burnt out and weren't having to scutter about for their next bit of money because it was theirs by right? Do you know we would transform Scotland? Really transform it, and happily that's what about 1,000 people believe too.
I think it's good also to leave with a sense that the society we live in does need to change and there are problems, but that we should feel a sense of hope and optimism and sometimes gratitude for just being lucky enough to be born in a time where we have enough liberty and freedom and prosperity and education to come together like this and not just talk about change but have a realistic possibility of actually affecting it.